Hey guys, it's Michi here with a quick show note. Just wanted to let everybody know that this episode does contain talk of terminal illness and suicide. If this is not the right episode for you, we invite you to join us for the next one. Otherwise, we wanted just to let you know that we did have a problem with Z's camera about halfway through the episode. So instead, we got some wonderful cosplay pictures from Z, and credit is in the description. But we hope that you love the cosplay pictures and that this is still fun. Thank you, everybody, for your understanding and enjoy the show. Hey guys, and welcome to Eternal Mooncast. I'm your host, Michi, a 90s baby and Sailor Moon obsessed since it was on Toonami. Joining us tonight for this wonderful theory on C'est la vie, Pgsm's unique ending, we bring in my co-host.
Hey guys, it's Selene. We're excited to have finished our 3 weeks of just us two, so you guys get to know us better. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to compare all of the different medias for Sailor Moon. We had the manga, we had the 90s anime, we had the Pgsm, and we had, of course, Crystal. And that was a lot of fun. I think it really allowed us to just be ourselves. It really set the mood for season 2. So we're really excited to bring this episode to you where we are bringing guests back again. So I'm going to give it back to Michi so that guests can be introduced.
Yes, and speaking of guests, we have one of our first guests ever for the show and a wonderful Moonie at heart. Welcome back, Z.
Hi.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure, why not? I'll give a little introduction. Now, I am Z. I am a cosplayer of all things magical girl, nerdy, and nostalgic, and I'm so happy to be back on here. I'm very honored that you asked me to be back here again.
Nice. No, you have such a great, unique perspective, especially considering Pgsm was your introduction to Sailor Moon.
It sure was.
Because I think you are the only person I have ever met in my life who Pgsm was your intro.
Yep. I get told that a lot.
I'm so glad you guys have decided to join us. We are a bunch of Moonies who we love to discuss Sailor Moon and our theories and opinions on them. And just for sake of clarification, this is just our opinion. We love the series. Any kind of knock we give, it's made with love. We just are here to talk a good time, to share our knowledge, and to really see what we can kind of bounce off each other to really explore the Mooniverse. You know,
I love it. I'm so glad to catch that.
If I wasn't cheated so many times, I wouldn't have so many aggressive opinions.
Yeah, part 1.
Sailor Moon Eternal, the movie.
Oh, but we
Pgsm.
Honestly, we
give me the Blu-ray. Give me the Blu-ray. I don't understand.
Yeah.
No.
Why do I have to bootleg it? I'm surprised that they don't release it as like a special edition. Like all of us Moonies would buy the shit out of that.
Oh, easily.
Because
this is the original D-Stub. Slam down my credit card. I'd be like, when do you want my money? You want it now? There's no money.
Welcome to the podcast where we make up Toei ideas for making money. Yes, thank you, the Comfy Witch. I appreciate that. That is exactly what we want our audience to know. Eternal Mooncast is an opinion-based podcast and Twitch series. All of the topics are our own opinions, and the discussions here are not meant to offend anyone or their opinion.
Actually, please give us your opinion.
Yeah.
We want it. Like, let's discuss it. Let's go.
Yes, but let's talk about the woman of the hour, Miss Minako Aino. So she is different in Pgsm.
Oh, so different.
I think that this is probably the most unique version I think we see of her. And I think it's very interesting because did you guys know, you guys already knew this, but maybe your audience didn't. Nako was super involved in Pgsm from what I can read.
Yeah. She had a hand in just about everything.
Oh, she's a big Sentai fan too. So it's like,
oh, she is? I didn't know that. Huh. Okay, well, that explains a lot because it almost felt like someone deeply had a vision for Pgsm. And I'm just going to get out my theory. I think that this portrayal of Venus was Naoko's almost, I don't want to say redemption because there was not really a lot to redeem from the 90s anime, but I feel like this was Naoko, let's say, giving us her real, if she could have done just a one and done season, this was the story she wanted to give Venus, not more of the airhead, like more ditzy version.
She's closer to the manga because in manga she's a lot more serious than
Yeah.
she was in the 90s anime. Like in the 90s anime, she had a moment of seriousness when she's like first being introduced and like being, oh, I have to be separate from you guys. Like, but then she turns like really ditzy, and that's very much a 90s anime thing for the magical girls. But I feel that PGSM was like essentially taking a piece from the manga because she is much more serious in the manga and she's much more the leader of the scouts in the manga than she is anywhere else. I really enjoy PGSM where they make her that leader aspect that we were supposed to get, because they literally say she is the leader of the Sailor Scouts, not Sailor Moon. Sailor Venus is the leader of the Scouts. Sailor Moon is the Moon Princess. Like,
Just takes them a little bit to get there to figure that part out. And then, all right. So I guess let's start here. What do you guys think of the reinterpretation, or I guess more manga-like version? Do you prefer it? Do you miss the older version? Like, how do you feel?
It's interesting because it was the first interpretation I ever saw. So I loved every moment of it.
You know what? I'd love to hear from your perspective. How do you feel about Venus overall now, like starting with PGSM and then seeing a wildly different version?
It makes me wish that the 90s gave what it could have gave JK. I agree. I love how they really lean into that leadership aspect for her because it's really, really strong within PGSM. And I'd say maybe Crystal being second to showing that leadership aspect that Minako has, and then 90s being a little bit lower than that. But I really liked it. I really, truly did.
I think it does her justice. Does that make sense? Because I just recently reread the Sailor V manga, and what struck out to me the most was she almost is Usagi-like in the first volume, all the way through the second half of the second volume. And then there's a drastic tone change with Ace. Yeah, exactly. Like, you guys like happy-go-lucky, almost like 90s anime Venus in the beginning. And her whole world comes crashing down when Ace helps her unlock her memory. She remembers the fall of the Moon Kingdom. She, like, just everything hits her at once, and the mission.
The way that that's a parallel to how the arcs go with the PGSM, like it's happy-go-lucky at first, and then the revelation of their past memories, and then there's just a shift. That's interesting. And that's interesting how that kind of like how the stories kind of parallel itself. Something like after episode 21 ish, there's like a semi shift, but then episode 40 on, it's just like, oh, the ball's still going. Oh no, oh.
Once we hit 40s, it's jumped the shark.
Yeah,
I think that PGSM Venus was Naoko's essentially like, I get to make her the way she really was supposed to be, because I feel that even in the manga, because you have that moment in the manga with where she's trying to get the enemies to look at her, because she has that moment because that's where Artemis goes human for her.
Yeah.
And you have this almost childish Venus for a second where she's been serious, and I feel that I feel like maybe the manga studio was like, hey, you need to like maybe not make the girl so serious kind of thing. And I'm like, the manga's completely dark, guys. What do you mean? I feel that is, Minako wanted to be an idol, and we get idol Minako just from the get-go. And I think that is something she wanted to see. She wanted to see Minako actually be the idol self, and maybe this would have happened if Codename Sailor V had been a standalone. She had continued that and not started Sailor Moon.
Oh.
Would this have been the Minako if Minako had been the lead character? Because we have to remember, Codename Sailor V came out first. And she switched it to Usagi being the main character for Sailor Moon. So I think that the Minako we see in Pgsm is the one we might have gotten if Minako had stayed essentially the main character and not had switched to Usagi and kind of was in the back seat because she gets pushed to the side until she appears again for the scouts. That's kind of something that maybe that's what happened now that, because I actually didn't know how involved Naoko was with Pgsm, but it makes sense. Like I said, she's a big Sentai warrior and her cars and all that kind of stuff. She's a big fan of that genre, like the Power Ranger kind of. She loves that kind of stuff, so we love her for it.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I could see that.
Can too. I like that.
Because it really feels like someone who loved Venus a lot was the one who was her instigator in this series.
She had a much more, like I said, she had that leader vibe. We got to actually see her sword.
Yes.
Which I was like, when the sword appeared, I was like, and it looked exactly like it. I think I was really excited because of the fact in Pgsm, they all have the different ways to transform. They have the tambourine things.
Star tambourine.
Yeah. For those, I'm going to be honest, the reason why they did those is to have things to sell to kids.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely.
There's Toei was behind that to have merch to sell. So I was really excited that when the sword came up, it looked like the manga sword. And I was like, thank God.
Yeah.
Thank you. One thing correct. Okay. Because even Moon's, like, it's based on her, it's almost like a combination of her heart locket. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. It looks exactly like the sword. Even like Usagi's locket is a mixture of her cosmic and her original brooch. It's very much a mix of that. So to see Venus's sword actually be correct was actually really nice. And then I love the bracelets though. I do love their communicator bracelets. I love
own that. They're so cute.
They're so pretty. Like, I love their bracelets. I won't lie. Like, they were very cute. They were very well done. The tambourines crack me up.
I'll pull them up.
Star tambourine.
But why?
They were a choice.
It's their, what is that? It's supposed to be them going to their next stage of Sailor Scout.
Yeah, because they can turn into
tambourines are supposed to be the next stage, like the star wands that they get. So yeah, I think they're hilarious. I'm just like, that was a choice.
Oh man, that's so 106.
Actually, it's probably the next thing that I want to start collecting is Pgsm stuff, but it's just so hard to get a hold of.
It's so fun. But you're so right. It's so hard.
It is.
I would love if I get to go to Japan and go to like one of their essentially it's not a flea market, but it's like people sold their anime stuff, and it's like huge places that you get to go, and it's essentially like a bargain mart. So I would love to go see if I could find some Pgsm stuff there, because I bet you I could, because I have the little HGIF figures for Pgsm, and that's about it. And then Miss Ma'am here is got.
I do. Look, inbox.
So good.
I love Sailor Luna.
She was so hard to get, and then I've been trying to find Artemis for almost 10 years at a good price.
I know. I gotta start looking again for you.
I know. That is my like grail right now, is to find an Artemis and have the set.
Noted.
Oh, but I love Luna. This is one of my favorite things I own. So as soon as I knew we were doing Pgsm tonight, I'm like, must bring Luna out.
I would have brought my PGSM stuff. Oh, buttload.
Oh, what? I was going to say, have you collected a lot?
I have her moon stick and then the brooch that it comes with. I recently got the star bracelet, like what they wear after they transform, thanks to my friend G. And then I have the charm bracelet. And I think all I'm missing is the star tempering, the princess harp, which that might be coming soon, and Luna and Artemis, I want to say.
That's so cool.
I love PGSM stuff. If there's anything that I would collect, it's PGSM stuff. That's the goal.
Do
Go
you
hard.
appreciate how hard that Luna is to get?
Yes. It's expensive, scarce. Expensive and scarce.
Let's talk about the woman of the night, though, and get back to focusing on her. So, let's start at the differences of PGSM with VS, because she is the same, but she's also wildly different. I think it starts right off the bat with, like we were saying, she's more cold. She's more leader. She's definitely a much more leadership type role than we would get in 90s. And I think, oh my God, I just lost my train of thought. If either of you two have a train.
She's very detached. She detaches
Yeah.
herself from scouts. She doesn't know how to be friends because in PGSM she's been an idol. And like I was saying with my theory, I think if Venus had remained the lead and Naoko had like continued with her, I feel that Venus would have been an idol and like a teen idol, because that's what she is. So teen idol, she's going to be much more separated. She doesn't have friends because she can't trust anyone. So I feel the biggest difference is you see this Minako who has to learn to be friends with people. She doesn't know how to act around other people. She's only had Artemis and her, whatever, her producer or whatever, who takes care of all her stuff. And
Oh, yeah.
I think
Trigger warning for anyone listening tonight. This will include talk about cancer.
but I think it's a throat cancer, correct? She's got it here, if I remember correctly.
Do you remember, Z?
I thought it was a brain cancer.
Is it brain?
Yeah, I thought it was something in the brain.
Yeah. So it's very interesting that they did that. I actually was pretty shocked when it actually came out in the episode. I was like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
I never expected it. It was a very huge curveball in PGSM, and I think I just don't know why they did it. But we should actually look it up because I thought it was in her throat, and the reason why she wasn't getting the surgery is because she wouldn't be able to sing anymore.
No, because she had 6 months to live in Act 23, and it was 6 months to the day in the show that she died. That I realized watching it.
That's amazing. I love how sequential PGSM is with timing. That is meticulous planning, and I love every bit of it.
And that's what surprised me, because Ray and her got really close when Ray figured out she was sick. And Ray is typically the closed off scout, I feel like. I'm trying to look what type of sickness she had. But I feel like Minako almost being closed off helped her connect with Ray more. Because, okay, so what if Naoko knew she was only going to get one season, because maybe they figured out by like episode 21 that the series was not taking off the way they wanted it to, and that they needed to find a different, and that they were going to have to end it in one season. And what if Naoko was like, well, I wanted to do one season to begin with, and then finally got to do her desire? What if she wanted to give Venus that tragic ending and just wasn't able to because the series got so popular? Because their deaths in season 190's anime are pretty horrible. What is the most
Very much so.
Oh my God, when Venus is like pulled up, held by vines, and it's just like, how did you feel whenever you first watched that ending versus the other ending?
Horrified. Why is this show so sad? Good grief. Death is just such a motif within the series. Goodness.
Death and rebirth. That's the biggest theme.
Gotta love it.
Minako, I feel like this truly Naoko working for her in PGSM. the storyline, even just how it starts to differentiate with like Minako finally getting to be an idol, Minako the more de facto leader, like the more serious side. I'm gonna just put this out there. What if, because she knew she wasn't gonna get to season 3 with Uranus and Neptune, and we see so many elements of previous seasons, what if Mars and Venus are kind of the stand-in for Uranus and Neptune who never get to be in PGSM?
That's what I was gonna say. I have a friend though, I love you so much, that said that the outers, outers are in PGSM, and maybe their personalities you often see within Minako, and how she's kind of stand-in outer senshi, for a lack of better words, since we don't get to that point within PGSM. Like, that makes so much sense.
Ooh, that would explain her personality change too. Since more outer scout, like 100% more Haruka and Michiru. And then what is the Kabuki Witch comes in with, I love how the whole series began as, I'm drawing girls who want to be friends with, and then they all effing die. And I'm like, no, and but that's why you don't have friends.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, the Kabuki Witch. Stone was just dramatic like we all are. Okay. What we established.
It's got that elegant flair.
Okay, I just Googled while Einstein was losing his shit. So speculation within the Mooney community is that it was a brain tumor for Minako. Because in the doctor's episodes, it is constantly x-rays of her skull.
Oh.
And they say it's terminal. And if most brain tumors can be are terminal, unless they're, was it benign?
Yeah.
Malignant. It's benign, right? If they're benign, then, but hers wasn't. It was malignant. So that's what it was, because a lot of people are saying, because they don't ever specify, apparently, as I was going through, they never say what exactly it is. She is just terminally ill. Hold on.
They don't? I didn't. I totally thought that they actually said it.
They don't, because I just looked through a bunch of stuff and they do not specifically say. They say she is terminally ill. And then you see her, I think it's Ray. Ray comes in and she sees like the scan, and they're all scans of the skull. So it's alluded that it's a brain tumor.
Oh, interesting.
So that is why. But again, it's very interesting that it happened in the first place. And as I was looking at it, people are like, we don't know why they decided to do that. But okay.
No, and here's the thing. If Nako knew she was going to get a one and done, I don't blame her for going ham. We can never take this back moment, because if she knew she wasn't going to get any more seasons, she had nothing to lose. And she's a fantastic writer. She knows how to break the drama.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, but all right. Any other big differences you want to really talk about?
I think those are her biggest.
Yeah.
She's an idol. She's got a terminal illness. Much more serious.
Personality change
Way
compared to other.
change. You don't really see her you don't really see her become like this overly friendly kind of ditzy Venus ever. She is serious up until the moment.
I think the closest would be when they have that whole game show episode with the 4 or 5 of them, when we get to see Miyako let loose just a smidgen. I think that's probably the closest.
That is right before everything goes down. That's almost like the calm before the storm.
So you can have a happy episode. Just one, though.
Just one. We literally got one.
You get one.
Nothing.
I genuinely think we got one happy episode, and then I think it literally took a dive, which is wild.
It's so wild. And everything gets set on fire, and the fire doesn't get put out. It just keeps going.
And then you're sitting there crying, going, what did I do in life to deserve it?
Literally, though. I signed up for a happy show. What is this? It is for kids. Wait a minute. Come on.
I was like, I'd like off this ride, please, and thank you.
Okay. But before we get into her death, like hardcore and the rating and that kind of stuff, because I want to go over some clips and stuff with that. Let's do more of the beginning of how they set her up. Z, I know you added a bunch of different clips. What about the Act Zero?
Birth of Sailor V.
Yes, because this is something, if people haven't seen it, I think it almost, it has manga aspects to it. To me, at least. Because it's Artemis over the wall. Let me pull this up. There we go. All right. I love that plushie so much.
So cute.
And like, credit to the girls for their great acting.
And not cracking up over these stuffed animals in front of them.
And being pulled by a light little string.
Although I just love that costume. That costume is gorgeous.
It's so nice.
I want
The
one.
skirt is everything.
It is. And so is Artemis. Oh, so that was how Venus came about. First of Sailor Venus, which I think is really cute that Pgsm actually did that.
It's so adorable. We get a prequel. Maybe we get a little sequel sort of thing.
I feel like this was almost Naoko Sensei's gift to the fans.
I'm glad she gave it. I'm so glad she gave
it.
Now we got to see the Sailor V outfit, which you only see in the Sailor V video games. You don't see Minako in that outfit.
No, and it's so pretty and so well done. I want to know who their costuming department was.
That's what I want to know too, because they ate.
Chef's kiss.
They did. She ate
no crumbs. They left no darn crumbs on any of the costuming whatsoever.
They left it on the floor for Princess Serenity. They fucking put it all in Mamoru's fucking shoulder thingies.
Yes,
that's where the bucket went for the princess.
They said Serenity could be simple because we got Princess Sailor Moon on the horizon. She could be a little extra for fun.
Oh man,
that's her pizzazz moment.
Oh my god, wait, I just got it. My brain is 404, but I just got it. Did you guys notice something?
What?
This is the Marine Cathedral. The cross in the background.
Yes.
Two lovers. This is Haruka Marine Cathedral vibes.
Oh my god.
That's why I was like, wait.
I further solidification of them being not representative outers due to the lack of outers within this show.
Because that's just oh my god, this just like Haruka and Michiru. Haruka on the ground, Michiru coming to save her. I didn't even realize that until just now when it really hit me why this felt familiar. Also, this shout out to the transformation for Venus.
They did that.
I love the hair transformation.
So it's everything. It's my favorite part. It's one of my favorite parts of her transformation sequence.
But also the skirts being the perfect length.
Yes.
Right? All of them.
Oh, so
the pleating is so nice. It's like she's got the tiara on.
Oh, everything about it is perfection.
Just eating. Just eating. Yes.
The show though. Yeah, no. Oh my god. That is Uranus and Neptune. That is the Marine Cathedral episode.
Oh my gosh. We need some side-by-side photos of that. That's actually amazing.
It bothered me. Why were they showing so much cross imagery whenever I saw it the first time in all the stills? I was like, that seems like a very purposeful and yet confusing choice to make. And then I'm like, oh my god, wait, I know what this looks like. I honestly, Selene's just like, you're crazy.
I had a hair down my shirt and it's been tickling me. And I'm like, where are you? Oh, I'm going to go, tickle, tickle. Oh, where is this?
That's cute.
I'm gonna go insane.
Oh my god! But I think that's what I think we could actually do a comparison of the 5 seasons that we got with the 1 season of Pgsm, and I genuinely think she gave us a preview of what we were gonna get. I should put your hair. I'm putting hair so far.
They would not have been able to put that close of a couple with live TV because of the time it was made. So I watched some some J dramas where I'm like,
You got a point. You got a good point.
I was like, ma'am, you need to back up. You were not Minecraft Christian mine server length apart. And these girls are like, I don't want you can have a little rainbow. A little bit.
A little friend.
More of that. Would have been interesting, but I think Japan is just now starting to give us the couples we want because nobody cares anymore. They're like, the world's on fire. It's fine. Just make them lesbians.
I think it was done so well in PGSM. Like, I genuinely think they killed it in the way they did it in PGSM. Because it was subtle, but it was so well written. And then
I feel that Japan has a different view and like how close girls do get. Where them, it's more innocent. Like girls can be super close, and I'm like, and they were roommates.
they were
They were cousins. I'm like, in Japan, because they still don't have gay marriage. The people are best friends, and that's how they move in together. So I think they did it beautifully with the subtle touch that they did in PGSM to kind of tip their hat at it and kind of allude to what's the pairing name for them?
Burning
Is
Love.
it Burning Love? Because I mean, it was in the manga.
Yep, I haven't heard that name in a minute.
Burning Love is my
So I think they did it very well given the time it was in. But also, like I said, even in mangas and stuff like that, very much like over there, girls compliment one another like crazy. They're like, oh my God, she is so stunning. She's so beautiful. And they give them the heart eyes. And I think that's just something like cultural for them. So I think that's very, very, like, there you go. Like the things she drew, but nobody said anything.
This one. This is
Yeah.
the biggie. Like,
It says, that's right. And because of that, we don't need boys to get along. Is that bad? That's what they say. And I'm like,
look at the body language. Look at the glossy lips.
you're like,
Power.
The power.
and like I said, but in the 90s, I guess this is as much they could allude to it. But look at Usagi. She's always like, she's so pretty, and then heart eyes. And you're like, she follows Ray around because she thinks she's so beautiful.
You're not
And I'm like, yeah, man, she's so beautiful.
Which
I do like the subtleness of it because that was the time. And I still have that subtleness with certain things where you're like, you squint hard enough, you can kind of see the rainbow, and you're like,
like slightly pretty. What?
but it's crazy because it's in the mangas now, like insanely. Now they're just outright just being like, by the way, I don't know if you knew, but I hope you tell titles. Because we're not being subtle anymore. I think if PGSM had come out now, it wouldn't have been as subtle.
Ragingly gay.
Just
We would have I think we would have gotten the Outer Scouts if they brought it back. I wish they would do a remake for it. It would be sad because I feel the actresses they picked for PGSM were chef's kiss, but
so good. Oh, did you know they're still friends?
yes, they are.
They meet up for each other's birthdays.
It's cute.
Miyu and Yako do live streams together. They're so precious.
I love them so much.
Yeah, and they take pictures and they post on Instagram and stuff when they meet up for the birthdays and stuff like that. And they do sometimes meet up for holidays if they have the time.
Oh,
It's so happy.
I'm just like my little gay heart. Stop.
they had to have bonded so hardcore on that show.
I feel they did, and I feel that I think they were all Sailor Moon fans, if I recall correctly. Like
I think
I think most of them were Sailor Moon fans, so they were very excited to be able to take these roles on.
that's so fun.
I think it's really cute that they meet up still, though. I'm just like,
So wholesome.
please. And it's interesting to look at them now because you think that series was what? How old is it now?
31.
Oh,
It's
Pgsm.
20, 20 years old as of this year, I believe. Because it came out in 2003.
I'm
But
gonna
it
be
should be the
sick.
20. It should be the 20th year anniversary. as of-
Happy anniversary.
These ladies are like close to their 40s now, and the fact that they still meet up is really cute. I'm like, do it, be best friends.
Be besties.
Oh my god, I just felt ill. I was like, oh my god, how long is it?
It's because we still feel like 10 years ago was 1990s.
Yeah. So that was 30, and I'm like, I'm gonna go play in traffic. I forget what show they said was like 20 years old that made me want to cry. Toy Story.
Oh.
What? Oh.
Toy Story release date. Oh my god,
Oh.
November 22nd, 1995.
I wasn't even born yet.
Yeah, that's not 30 years.
Kindergarten, yes.
I need to turn my camera off. I'm done. Go.
I lost C.
I hear.
I can hear C.
I'm like,
I told
I gotta
the
go.
webcam might do stuff.
It's all good. Audio is the most.
I was like, I almost was like, ready. I was about to be like I gotta go.
If Selene could, it would be like an outright backs.
I'm so 99.
I'm just like, oh god. I was finishing middle school, going into high school when you were.
But that's the greatest part of Sailor Moon is it connects all generations and like we all find ourselves in these stories and these people and like Ten Sensei was able to really like create a story that 30 years later we're like, someone said it in one of our episodes of Money, it was like, yeah, I would want to be friends with these girls. These girls are awesome.
The fact that Sailor Moon still can hold its own
against new animes. Like it is like an undefeated champion. Knock on wood.
Stop giving me movies.
All right. And then I want to bring up a clip because this is another dip in still similarity is when Venus reveals herself not as the princess Pgsm. Look at how good she looks.
What a queen.
Just so good. And she's such a good actor in this. And also those wigs, though.
Those wigs are everything. The costuming is so stinking cool. Like, I found out through an article that I read that Hawaii was interviewed, like, way back when, that they got to try on the Mewfukus. Like, when they were going through different types of costuming and stuff, they got to try on some of the Sailor Mewfukus.
Oh, my.
And I'm so upset because I wish that there were photos. There might be photos out there, but the fact that they got to, like, I think that's cool. That's a fun fact that I discovered. So a lot really went into the costuming because I know at this time Bandai Mew was still going strong because of stuff. So.
And these Fukus are a 180 from the Bandai.
Oh,
like back 100. Not even kidding. It's like 190 degree. Oh, this is later when we want to cry.
Oh no.
That's with that's like we're ready to cry over Venus.
Oh my goodness.
Which I'm gonna save that for our ending segment because honestly, the actress for Rei deserves an award for how well she acted out that ending. But we didn't talk about Sailor V as an idol.
I love her as an idol. She was so good.
I do too. I love it so much.
I also love the fact that the song is Sailor V, but it sounds like Sailor V. I'm like, when I heard it the first time watching Pgsm, I was like, clever. You're so clever.
Funny.
That's
I was
why
like, listen to those puns.
I had to steal the pun for the title of this episode just because I was like, it's too good. It's too good. Also, who dressed them?
I want to make those outfits so badly. They get even better. They get even better.
How does it?
It's just, they get, okay, to me, they get better. They get better to me.
Okay, but you have to realize when this was going on, it is early 2000s.
True.
Yeah,
so while these look horrendous to us, this was the early 2000s for stage stuff and like their outfits. Like that that big bulky cap that Venus wears. I'm like, oh god, I remember that in high school.
Wasn't it also Paris Hilton's fault?
Yes, I
'Cause she-
believe so.
Not fault, but like she made it trendy.
It was Britney Spears too.
Oh.
Like the hat and stuff was very Britney Spears, and because Britney wore it to I think an awards ceremony, and it was very popular. But I mean, their outfits are meant to represent their scouts, and they're very much like early 2000 like Japan fashion.
That's so cute.
It honestly gives Bandai Mew a little bit too. It reminds me of the outfits that they wear. Which school is it? It's like I and me is where the lumberjack chic Mamoru comes in, but it reminds me a lot. It reminds me a lot of those outfits that they wear.
You know what? Yes, this reminds me of Bandai Mew. Sarah Mew.
It's giving they're gonna go camp in forest. That's what it's skip.
Honestly, Usagi's outfit, I think, is the most passable. If I were to walk past this group on the streets, that is the one that would gather my least attention.
I have a question though, because like looking at Mercury's and looking at Venus's, theirs don't make sense.
No.
So I don't understand why there's orange on Mercury and then there's green on Venus, because they have their colors. The orange and blue combo should have been Venus, and then Mercury should have been the dark blue and like a powder blue or something like that. Because if you look, Jupiter has pink and green, Usagi's pink and red, and then Mars is like, hers is fine. Like it's blue, but I mean, it doesn't
It's at least majority
like
red.
Accent.
flash so much. Like she looks like Sailor Mars.
Yeah, and at least like Jupiter's is super on point. Pink and green, cute pants, A+.
But I don't understand the green on Minako.
But
But I also, like I said, I don't understand the orange on Ami.
I just realized we didn't explain what this is because double checking myself. This is a special performance after the series wrapped, right?
Actually, in the midst of the series, after they finished filming for this, they had to go film like episode 40 something.
They were all happy, and then they all about real sad.
Yeah, so like that. But this happened in the midst of them still.
Probably a promotion.
Pgsm. Yeah. It was for winners of Golden Week. They had some kind of competition or something, and all the winners got this special performance.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's awesome.
It's so cute because all the little kiddos in there, they have their own little figures on, and it's so adorable. And then the generals terrorize the crap out of them. What? I don't know if y'all see the Kirari Super Live, but it's really cute if you have it. Like, so adorable. I love every bit of it.
I've only seen this clip.
Oh, you're in for a treat then. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. It's got its own little storyline. It's funny.
The amount of original storylines in PGSM is wild. Here, I'll turn that off for a minute. But yeah, I think it's really cool though how they fully realized the idol part of the storyline that we really haven't gotten in any other version of Sailor Moon.
I think they needed something interesting. And since Venus wanted to always be an idol, why not make Venus the idol? They also needed to sell CDs.
You're not wrong.
Due to the fact that it is actually the actresses singing, though. Like Sailor V is them, and so is the opening theme song. The opening theme song is also them.
Oh,
So I find that really interesting that it's them singing, especially the opening theme song, because it goes through like each scout. They're singing about something for themselves. So I think it was, they needed something. I think they wanted Venus to be different. They needed that whole idol aspect because then you get a different little, not like subgenre, but you get like a different scene setting for a lot of stuff. I think that also helped Venus stay separate from the scouts for as long as she did, because she's pretty much there from almost episode 1 that we see her. And you had to, I think that the idol aspect allowed her to be separate from the scouts while we still got to see her in the series until she arrived as Sailor V. So I think I feel that was a good choice to go because they didn't do the Sailor V video game.
Oh, that's right.
And in the manga and in the series, like the anime series, they are all obsessed with playing the Sailor V video game.
Yes.
Like, they know Sailor V. But in PGSM, Sailor V is not, like, a thing, like, them seeing Sailor V, like, in the news and stuff like that, but instead they gave us this idol that was in the news instead of the hero, which was Sailor V.
Which is so smart. It's a
They
much
had to find something.
It's also easier and probably a lot more cost effective to make her an idol versus trying building a video game and a command center and all that.
And also having
Oh, yeah.
people watch that when karaoke is still huge in Japan, but you have to think that's what girls did after school. They went to the karaoke bar. So with the girls going to the karaoke bar they don't go to a game center, they go to the karaoke bar for their meetup spot. And I think that it helped to have Sailor V as an idol because then they're playing Sailor V in a sense because
I love
they
that.
constantly sing her song. Like, they are
Mhm.
obsessed with Minako as an idol. So I think I feel that maybe that's the angle they were going for with her. And like I said, it kept her separate from the scouts
Yes.
while allowing her to be in the series and not just having to wait until she popped up.
Yeah. Because she does come in super late. If we're going to identify her as Sailor Venus, even like this is the first time she appears as Princess or like as the disguise. Also, I love how they handled the attack in this show because I think they did it really well for how they could do it. I'm trying to find. Jedi will never not make that.
So funny.
It is just funny now watching this. I'm like, Marine Cathedral, Marine Cathedral. Though at least it ends happier than the Marine Cathedral end.
True.
I do love the fact that she like kissed her fingertips before she does her move. And I'm like, cute. You're adorable, ma'am.
Of course.
Also, I just love the amount of firepower the villains have. It's like a ridiculous amount.
It's truly giving Super Sentai explosions everywhere after they transform. Like, explosions are going to be used
It's a,
everywhere.
they have an explosion budget. We're gonna use it.
Yeah.
All that CGI. And also, I just love now the amount of Mars and Venus I'm noticing duoing together. Giving Haruka and Michiru in the best way.
I mean,
There's a good little wink there.
they do mention that Mars is actually in charge when Venus is not there.
Oh, I forgot that.
Mars is like the sub captain. Like, she's
Like
the next in
second
line for
command?
being the leader. Under like when Venus isn't there, they actually say Mars is the leader of the scouts.
Interesting. What is Moon's job?
She's not supposed to be the Sailor Scouts. She was supposed to just be the princess.
She's supposed to be.
I believe that. That's been a theory I've had for a hot minute.
She was never supposed to be Sailor Moon.
Yeah. So it's interesting in a way. It's set up like she's not supposed to be there.
She's not supposed to be the leader of scouts. It is Venus who leads the scout, and then Mars is supposed to be like the lieutenant.
Oh, interesting.
So it does make a lot of sense because why they pair up the way they do. They're supposed to be like co-captains.
I'm done with this show.
I love her.
She's the queen.
Make you slick.
She's the queen.
Take my tiara. I got 50 of them.
She's like, take it. It's fine.
Oh, good. And an orange briefcase on top of that.
That's the cherry on top. Oh my god, Dark Fury. Dark Fury needs her own episode too.
I love her so much.
Honestly, just every aspect of change to the characters is amazing. The rainbow stage really makes this one.
Sets the ambiance.
It does. But I like how you actually see them use weapons in PGSM. We actually see Venus use her belt a ton.
I mean, there's mentions of the fact that they actually allowed Venus and Jupiter have their belts, which they originally had in the mangas.
Yes. Which is so nice.
Because in the manga, she's actually supposed to use if I believe she uses the belt to actually like use her whip or whatever.
Yeah, like her love me chain.
Jupiter's just sits on her hip.
Yeah, it's the flower. I thought she uses it for like a flower attack.
I'm not
Flower
sure.
birthday.
I really need to like during my manga binge that I'm going through right now. I think Sailor Moon's going to end up being the last one because it is the longest that I have because it's 10 volumes. So I'm like,
Nope. I'm midway through book 2 of my reread. That's because I have so much on. All right. So,
Same.
I know
All
it's
this
funny.
running. Imagine all of this running.
They're like press it. They are running in heels.
Oh, it might be boots. They have two different shoes, two different types of shoes that they wear.
Are you serious? I didn't
got-
notice that.
Oh yes, they have flats for like stuff like this, and then they have heels for like their stand stuff.
That is funny. I didn't know that they switched out shoes.
Notice that
they
sometimes
can't
one
have
wears
those
flats.
actresses spraining an ankle.
Yeah.
It's too much of a danger.
And sorry, what were you saying, Z? It didn't come through.
Oh, I was saying, for example, Moon's boots right there, they're flats. They're not the heels that she wears, so they alternate.
Oh, that's so smart, though. Also, just that whole
Fun.
a vision in red.
I think it's very
Never.
interesting the way they did the generals.
That could be another episode in itself. Look at Mars.
I do like in PGSM that the scouts got closer to their powers that were in the manga, because in the manga, they'll suddenly just whip a freaking move out and be like, Mars, Kingdom of the Raven, Fireball Power, go. In the manga, they're like, where the fuck did you just pull this out of your ass?
You're not wrong.
Yeah, you're not.
Because, like, I remember I was flipping through the mangas and I was just like, fuck do they suddenly get these moves? And you're just like, it was just like, oh, this is super duper powered up. So I feel very like Sentai Warrior kind of thing when I see some of the moves that they do in the manga. So I was really happy that they brought that into like PGSM with their like, suddenly they can just throw this huge power out.
It's so
And it's just them. Like the scouts are very powerful because they're not just supposed to be Usagi.
actually
They
that's
can all hold their own.
They're all individual characters who are working together. And that's the development we didn't get in the manga. So I feel like PGSM is almost like all of the best aspects of Sailor Moon in a way, besides like, I know Princess Serenity's dress is is a yuck.
Bro, like I said, they use the budget on everything else in the show. And then her dress came off a clearance rack of a wedding shop.
Which we later found out through the season that the dress is actually her wedding dress
It's
from
not
the
her
manga.
wedding dress in the manga. But I'm just like, I still am just like, why didn't you give her Sailor Moon hair as the princess? Like they did the weird pinup of her actual hair. And I was just like, you couldn't have given her like a white wig
Yeah.
to embody Princess Serenity. You used her actual hair. Like, don't understand. I'm like, did y'all run out of wig budget?
But what if PGSM is more about Minako than Sailor Moon?
Ooh.
Oh, I know, I'm getting controversial here, but hear me out. What if PGSM is Minako's real story? And this is actually, even though it's called Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon, what if Venus is the main character and that's why we see almost everything from her perspective?
See some of it from her perspective once she comes in. We see her, because we see Usagi's point of view mostly in the show, and then you see Nako's side also. So I feel that both girls ended up being the main character.
Yeah.
And that's my argument for it, because you do have Cecilia. We're finding out stuff is wrong with Venus. So I feel that we kind of both aspects. So you get that Sailor V vibe from the manga when she was just the main character of her. But then you've got Sailor Moon, which is Usagi's go through.
Yes. Also, the amount of jumps in the show is so impressive.
Oh, so many. Full-blown Power Ranger jumping.
Yeah.
But
Like, Look at this rolling heart vibration, like just move out of their ass.
Yeah,
I do like that little nod to the manga where they would just like suddenly have this freaking move that you've never heard of, and they only use it once,
Just once. And then,
to be overpowered.
but then the transformation, I think, is just so funny in a way.
Yeah, Moon is main character, Venus is leader character.
Oh, no.
so extra.
Doesn't she have a more extra transformation than Moon's? Basically.
It's so extra. Like she's doing somersault, backflip, somersaults in the air.
I love it. I know we already watched this, but I also just feel like it's such an important part because transformations really are the bread and butter of Sailor Moon in a way.
Oh my god.
Like, it's their big thing. That's why they always kept them in the episodes.
Save on that quality animation, though.
Just reuse that stuff. You're fine.
All right. So before we go to break, is there anything else that we want to talk about with differences or similarities between Venus before we get into the ending?
I'm trying to think, just like similarities. I think the only similarity we get is she is serious in the manga, and she has those aspects of seriousness. And I feel that PGSM Nako is literally just that.
Yeah.
That we don't see the other aspect of Venus that we see in every other form. She is just the serious Minako, which is she is the leader of the scouts. This is her job. This is her duty. Like I said, the whole the terminal illness may have played into that because she's like, I have this long to fulfill my duty. So like they played hard into it, and I was like,
oh yeah, they definitely
be a teenager, please.
Yeah, there's moments though. Like I think she has moments. They're not big, but like when her and Usagi eat cake on the Ferris wheel, like she'll have those small little interactions.
It's like the glimpses into the Venus we knew. If she did, and we'll get more into it in the ending, but she is on that horrible time crunch of knowing that she may only have 6 months. And the Negaverse is not making it easy on her.
They're like, fuck the couch. They're like, oh, we're just gonna everywhere. And you're like, please, calm the fuck down.
Let's eat a Snickers bar, please.
Could you imagine? Give Beryl a Snickers.
Beryl a Snickers. I can eat this one. Here you go. You need Snickers.
You need this more than anyone right now. Like, please, ma'am. But you mean it all boils down. She has that timeline crunch. Suddenly the Negaverse is just like, bam. And she's like, I just gotta do things right, please.
No, because she wants to fulfill her destiny that she never got to, and she died before doing in in the Moon Kingdom, and then she doesn't even end up getting to do it in this one.
I think she's literally trying to make up for the fact that she did fail during the Moon Kingdom. She failed at her duty, and that was protecting the princess that they lost. And she's gotta deal with that weight that not only did they lose, but the princess killed herself on her sword. To kill herself. And she had I think they make mentions that like Venus actually sees it happen before Venus kind of, because Venus is dying, but she kind of, I think she knows about it, and then Usagi of course knows about her own death and kind of the seppuku that she commits. But it's Venus's sword. It's as Venus lies dying, she takes her sword, and Venus has already failed by the fact that she fell, and so did the other scouts. Like, her team has fallen.
Yeah.
So had she did not get to avenge them as they fell. And then the princess ends up dying. When that's what her duty was, to keep Princess Serenity alive.
Which is just so crazy. Because there's a lot, I think, in Sailor Moon about death and rebirth and redemption and second chances. So it's interesting to me that Naoko Sensei decided to go down the darker, which don't get me wrong, I appreciate the darker route. I'm a big fan of the darker route. I and that person that I like in anime that makes me cry at the end. Shout out to Assassination.
You're like, I would like you to break my soul, please, and thank you.
Yes,
Like
yeah.
that more.
That's why Marie Cathedral and then their Death and Stars is my favorite parts of Uranus and Neptune because they're such dramatic days and I love them so much. But it's just that's the part I want the emotional tie-in. I want that. I want it to hit my heart whenever I watch something, and this series did.
Because you fell in love with all the girls and you connected with Minako's loneliness that you see in her because you're like, oh, she's an idol. That must be so sad. She doesn't have any friends. And then you watch her make these friends and she starts coming out of her shell and then kind of the rug's kind of ripped out from under you and it kind of tears your heart out that she doesn't get to continue with these friends. And you're just like, but why?
No, and we'll get into it because we're about to go to break. No, seriously, like, it's just so sad. Can't wait. We're going to get into ending in the second half, and we're going to get into just what it is, because there's nothing really to even compare it to. It's so original. Like, it is one of, I think, the boldest Sailor Moon moves that they did.
Sure is.
All
I'm
right.
still not okay. Years later, I'm
Yeah, that makes two. It's
you have to think that came out 18 years ago. I'm still not okay.
Yep. And it is hecka sad. So, okay, but no, and don't worry, I have the clip, so we're gonna cry.
no.
I don't cry.
I do. I am the crier on here. It's funny because I'm not the crybaby, but I cry at things that actually hit my heart. Please stay tuned, guys, and we'll see you for the second half. Hey guys, welcome back to the stream. I am Michi, and this is my co-host Selene, and our guest B. There we go. And our guest C. So welcome back to the second part of C'est la vie, Pgsm's unique ending, which is season 2, episode 4 of Eternal Mooncast. All right, so thank you guys for coming back. For everybody that's staying on our stream. So what's cool is that we're going to go over something that I have not found a lot of information on. Not the ending of Pgsm. Sorry, didn't mean to laugh. Loki was just said something.
Look, because the reason why we were a little late coming back from that 15 minutes is Stella actually got fixed last week. So I actually have to walk her outside. And then we had to put, if she walks in here, you're going to see her in a pink onesie.
Oh,
really cute. Oh, there she is.
oh,
with a passion. So,
let's get into the wonderful second half of Pgsm because I am ready to talk about the ending because the ending is so dramatic and so sad and so good all at the same time. So let's start. Okay, but real quick, just something funny that we have to talk about because I asked C this. I was literally like, help me. I am so confused. What is with the cowboy hat agenda on the show? Because Minako, all the time, cowboy hat. Like, oh, come on. Cowboy hat. Like, it was a styling choice. Camo cowboy hat.
and then I pointed it out because I grew up with this.
Yes, please explain.
Yes, elaborate.
This was a very big fashion back in the early 2000s, cowboy hats. And it came from, what's it called? The Simple Life Reviver with Paris Hilton and it's me, Nicole Richie.
Yeah, it's literally called The Simple Life with Nicole Richie and Paris Hilton.
And so cowboy hats became a big thing. And in Japan, they thought it was big over here. Like we wore them sometimes, and Britney wore them too. Like Britney Spears, you saw Christina Aguilera in them, like back when they were, cowboy hat equals American equals cool. No, it doesn't. Unless they're a very, very handsome gentleman and they wear that cowboy hat or like you have this beautiful woman, like the farm, and she just tips her hat and you're just like, okay. I mean, just like, okay, Jesus Christ. But the cowboy hats were a really big thing during the time frame that Pgsm came out. Everybody was wearing them. And like I said, it's because of The Simple Life with Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie. And everybody was wearing, like I said, Britney. Christina Aguilera, like the big head that was going on.
I just can't even. Like, I love it so much.
Yeah, it was the fashion, and that's why I was explaining the fashion of them in that one like festival that they were in. It's the fashion of that time frame, and I think I have a different perspective on it because I am quite a bit older than everybody. I'm the eldest here. I lived through this. Like, I was in high school when this shit was happening. So I saw it a lot more because of the things I was watching compared to others.
Which I think is so cool though, because like we're bringing 3 like different perspectives all in the same on the same medium. It's just we saw them all at 3 very different points in our lives.
You're like, why was that a design choice? And I'm like, it was the fashion.
Everyone was wearing it. Listen.
Some of the things they keep trying to bring back, like the what is it now? They're trying to bring back the low-rise jeans. I'm like, absolutely not. I will actually end someone. Please do not bring those back. They cause so many body dysphoria issues. Please don't bring those back.
I will say, I love Comfy Witch's assessment. Cowboy hat equals American equals cool. So that was one, but let's talk about, by the way, I forgot, Venus gets a motorcycle attack.
Oh, heck yeah, she does.
I forgot that a motorcycle attack is a thing.
Oh, yes.
Which I'm kind of all here for it, but let's talk about the true elephant in the room. Who wants to talk nothing?
Have to.
The fact they had her sing in the karaoke as like a dream, and then you find out it's actually Ray reading a letter from her.
Yep.
And I'm just like, y'all fucked up.
Yeah.
Why would you? How dare you? How fucking dare you? And they have like, they're reading the letter from her, and they see her like singing to them, but she's singing from the afterlife to them. And I'm like, can't do this.
Which we will play the full clip. But like, oh Lord, this is when I broke down right here.
Oh Lord,
that was I was holding it in, and I think we already said it, but like obviously we're talking about the ending of the show. Spoilers for the ending. When she dies, and we realize that, oh my God, they just killed Sailor Venus. What?
And she is the only scout that they actually truly killed.
Yeah.
In any of the medias. Because the scouts die all the time, trust. They die several times in the manga, but they're always reborn. They always come back, like Sailor Moon brings them back. In Pgsm, they indicate like she's gone. There's no bringing her back.
Yeah, which we'll definitely get to the ending of the show, but I want to talk about Minako's ending first, if that's good with you too.
Heck yeah.
Okay, because I think they're 2 separate endings.
My wife actually has a good point. The whole singing idol with the terminal illness was a huge trope around the time, because Full Moon wo Sagashite came out during that time. She had cancer in the throat.
Oh.
That whole book, and that's what she wanted to be. She wanted to be an idol.
Interesting.
She wanted to be an idol, and we'll have to do a full moon episode when we do our mini-sodes. But like that trope of the singing idol with the terminal illness is a huge thing. Like, I was shocked when they did it to Minako, but I also wasn't, because that was like a huge, like, the person having a terminal illness who's famous in the show, who's a friend, is a huge thing for like that time for all the Japanese shows.
Interesting.
It was like, we gotta tug on your emotional heartstrings this way. And I'm like, you could have done it some other way. You didn't have to actually obliterate me. Please and thank you.
I'd almost argue, I think that her death is what makes the show so iconic.
Because it is. She's the only one who actually dies.
Yeah, and I just think, okay, so let's start with, for our viewers who may not be familiar, who are just like, I'm really curious what I'm talking about. Let's start at the beginning of act, I think it's act, oh my God, now I'm mixing up. It's act 40 something, where Minako dies, and it's literally called Goodbye Minako. So like,
it's 40. Hold on, I have episode guides up. Hold on.
I was gonna say, you know, right? It's something in the 40s.
Yeah, it is in the 40s. You were correct.
Because she passes and they literally end the show.
Yeah, it's episode airing on my birthday. Wait a minute, it's Act 47. Really like it first? Yes, according to Moon Kitty, it aired. Oh Lord, please tell me I'm wrong. No, September 4th, 2004. That's crazy. Oh my god,
Congratulations.
I'm so sad.
The show's even more connected to you than you knew.
Who would have thought?
The trauma.
The trauma. That's what we're here
I hate
for.
that so much. Y'all can see my facial expressions. Like I can't even.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
Your camera gave up, so we cannot right now.
it's okay.
Thank goodness, because you would see me crying, and yeah,
You just gotta put a crying emoji.
press note in the chat for respects.
Oh, but this is the episode where Mars comes after learning, I believe, that Minako has died.
Yep.
And the other scouts have no idea. They've actually set up a welcome home party for her.
And Usagi didn't even know that Minako was going through all this. She wasn't told, to my knowledge, anything about her illness or anything whatsoever.
You're correct. They did not tell her.
I don't think they told anyone. Only Mars knew.
No,
Not
Jupiter and
Makoto.
knew.
Yeah.
Okay. Because Ray, I think, was like there. Like she was at the hospital. And Artemis goes, she didn't make it or something, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's something very. I just love how they acted this out with having her in regular clothes and regular hair. There we go.
Crying, weeping,
Nope, I'm crying.
crying, weeping.
I gotta eat my dinner.
Oh,
Because I'm just like, Mars, are you good? What's wrong?
and Mars is like, I will set this whole world on fire. My love is gone. And she literally is just like burning the ever loving heck out of everybody and like blaming fair.
Unfair. It's not fair that Minako had to do all this stuff. She gets reborn and then she doesn't get to live.
Welcome, people.
And there was no way to save her or heal her. There was nothing
No,
that could be done.
no, it's so sad because like they literally have dedicated their lives to this. This has been like all that they have been doing day in, day out besides school. And how would they have even known that Minako was on a time limit? Because the thing we brought up earlier is that it's literally 6 months to the day that Minako says she has 6 months to live that she dies.
They
Because
timed that perfectly.
that's just good writing.
Oh, so good. Oh my gosh.
It's just so good. Like, it's just so sad and so
And
wonderful.
then the music just does not help. It beautifully elevates this, like, oh, please, no.
But this best part where
This is what broke me.
she's so strong and she's so powerful until and Usagi
What's going on?
and see Jupiter knows, Mercury knows that look in their eye. It's so sad. And then she just gets it. And then this like the very subtle all white imagery and then she's on the Ferris wheel like before.
It looks so happy.
And so peaceful.
She's no longer in pain.
Shout out to the actress for this. This was so good.
Keiko Kitagawa ate hard.
We are big fans in this household, but
over
and then
this.
I have
I can't do this.
the second half ready because I am a monster. Let's go. So yeah, so this is and trust me, I cry every time. The only reason I'm not crying is because I watched it already twice today.
Oh,
So
now 7 tears over here.
Understandable. But this is the welcome home party. And what's interesting is this is the first time we see that chair orange. That chair has always been white. And now instead, Minako is in all white and the chair is orange. I know. And it's just like, but then she gets to sing for her friends as like an angel. And
It's what could have been. It's what should have been. Giving a
What is also their
try.
funeral? I forgot that.
Oh my gosh.
It is the funeral color in Japan, I believe. I would have to triple check. I'm 99% sure you're right, Company Witch. Oh, and there's the letter.
You're supposed to give them a proper goodbye.
And she never
She
got
knew
the
she wasn't
chance.
going to make it.
It's so good. And like, but I
But
like
she
how,
didn't break their hope.
but I love how like they say like she doesn't regret a thing. She was able, and what I think is interesting is she feels like she was able to die as herself, not just Sailor Venus. Oh, I love her so much. And this is crying the episode, the company, which, oh, look at the games. Oh,
So my favorite episodes. Oh my gosh.
it's so well written. Every single thing leads up to this point. That is the thing. You don't realize it because it's such a fun, happy, goofy show that it is actually setting you up.
It's setting you up so hard.
And it's just so beautiful because it gives Minako her almost like her main character moment of she is able to do the biggest sacrifice of herself for the good of the scouts and for the good of the world. And oh my gosh. It's so and the acting is just so beautiful, and like it's the letter that Minako wrote to all of them. And then Usagi finds out for the first time that like I believe that she's sick.
Yep. And that just like that, she's gone.
And then the tears
Well,
from
no,
Artemis.
Usagi knew she was going into surgery, but not how serious it was.
And there she is in all
Because
white.
she didn't want her to be broken.
And then just straight into the all white. And then them crying in their chairs. And it's just I don't even know how to.
That whole scene is why to this day I cannot listen to Sayonara Sweet Days. I will cry. I've never heard that song in its full capacity. Because of that scene. Like anytime you play it, I would say cut it off because I'm not going to cry.
So for those that don't know, because Minako is an idol, she actually has a bunch of different songs that tell the story as the show goes, I believe is what you said, Z. So I know you're emotionally recovering, so I'll get
Wonton trying to emotionally recover. I'm like,
because that's my little headcanon that her music is her way of expressing herself in ways that maybe she physically and mentally cannot, like with the kind of Sailor V, romance. What's another one? Katagoshi ni Kinsei or Venus Over My Shoulder, like just a different outlet to express herself. Since maybe physically and mentally and definitely emotionally she could do so.
No, and in a way, I think it was a brilliant choice, make her an idol, because then her music will live on past when she can.
And I think they note that in an episode. Because actually, I don't want to say it's the episode before. If not the episode before, and maybe 2 episodes before. Minako was kind of struggling with the fact of, well, I got to do my past mission, all that kind of stuff. And there's a scene where she's looking at 2 kids singing her song. And I think it's Artemis that points out, even though you might be gone, you're still going to live on, essentially. I can't remember what episode, but I know that's the scene that happens. Let me see if I can find it.
That sounds right. And also, just how strong was Venus as a character to be able to go through this and still do it with a smile on her face and for her fans.
she didn't want anybody to know she was suffering.
No. I think it was just Mars, right? Until like close to the end.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's Mars up. Mars finds out first because she runs into her and finds out about it.
Oh my gosh. And that's just,
also towards the end, Venus starts having trouble fighting.
oh,
She
you're
starts
right.
getting her Disney spells and all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah, because she really does start to deteriorate. And then something that's interesting. So how many episodes do you guys remember? Do you guys remember how long Venus was in it before we do the final battle with Queen Beryl in the manga and the anime? I feel like
He shows up right before the final battle.
Yeah.
Is it as dramatic though? Because in PGSM, I think it's the next episode after she dies that it goes straight into the final battle.
I think so.
Yes.
In the manga, she appears and she's faking as the princess at first. And then she's in for a moment because the battle with Beryl actually doesn't happen because you have Tuxedo Mask kidnapped, you've got Usagi discovering she's the princess first, and then there's a couple more scenes that happen with Venus in there, and then it goes to the final battle.
Because like you said, she is in PGSM a lot more than she is in other mediums in the beginning.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
In the manga, she shows up because she fights Tuxedo Mask for a second when he's robbing the jewelry store.
Oh, yeah. And she was kind of the superhero heroine at that time.
And that's it. And then she doesn't show up again until one of the battles that are later on. When
Yeah.
they're against they're like fighting Kunzite. I almost called him Malachite. I was like,
Oh my gosh. But I think, honestly, this is one of my favorite versions of Venus. Genuinely. I think from start to finish, we get a complete cycle of who she is and what she stands for. And the fact that even at her dying wish, she's still thinking about, I wish I could have finished the mission.
she feels like she's failing again.
And this time it's her health that she
Mhm.
doesn't even get a choice to
Mhm.
continue or not continue.
But like Usagi can't even heal her, which I think is one of the I think is one of the things that actually like pisses them off even more because she can't be healed.
That's an interesting point because in Sailor Moon, like it's kind of a joke that we always make here on the show. They die and come back, die, come back, and they double checked me if I'm wrong on the ending.
Mhm.
But after the battle with Beryl, I believe they do all come back, right?
Yes. I want to say they use the silver crystal one more time because it's just moon on a butt ton of sand. After everything's been riggedy wrecked. Where it's like, yes, you can use the crystal again to bring everybody back, but it'll be at the cost of our lives, essentially. So she does bring everybody back, and it does breaks the past cycle in doing so.
And I believe the ending is different in that Venus comes back, but with no power.
Yes.
Because this is the final.
Yeah,
And
they're all normal now.
Yeah, so it's interesting that is this the ending Naoko wanted to do?
I
To-
wonder.
well,
'Cause
I mean, there's always in the 90s series, you have the point after Beryl when they get to be normal teenagers for a second and then they have to go back to being scouts. I think it only does it in the actual like deep dub where Usagi's like, I just want to be a normal teenager. I just want to live my life. And this PGSM ending is going to give them, they get to be actual teenagers again. They don't have to be scouts.
they
Yes.
get to live their dreams.
I'm-
Special life.
I'm telling you, I think this is what Naoko originally wanted to do. That's what this vibe is to me. My theory is PGSM is the original one-season show that Naoko envisioned when she was bringing around Sailor Moon.
I like that a lot. I love that. And it makes sense, like from the costume choices, like it being verbatim, some of her OG designs that she had, some original illustrations that she implemented. Like I can see it. I see the vision.
See, and it says, see you again with a cute little bunny. And I like that they're all together and Minako is finally part of them.
And the song that's in the background is Friend, which is a song that all of them sing. It's so
I also think with the ending of PGSM, the way they did it, the fact that they're normal teenagers, I also think they did it because it wasn't going to get any more episodes. I think they were like, let's give it an actual ending so that that there could be more seasons. We don't need to lead anyone along. Hey, we're ending it. They're normal kids. They're normal teenagers again. Bada bing, bada boom.
No, it's honestly true. And I think it's really kind of cool that, like, I genuinely just believe that this was the one season that Naoko envisioned, and especially it lines up with how Venus was written in the Sailor V manga. It lines up with a little bit of the Sailor Moon manga. Like it feels like when they found out it was going to be one season, they made a choice and they went with it in a really good way. What are your headcanons on the ending of PGSM and like how unique it is and how like they become human and there's no like R or S. We never see the outer Senshi. We never see like all those other villains.
I don't know. I give a question mark because I've heard through the grapevine that the show was originally supposed to have 2 extra episodes, but they got cut.
Really?
Yes. Just to the ratings because the show did not do well in Japan. But I remember hearing somewhere that there were supposed to be 2 more episodes, but they ended up cutting them. So it makes me wonder what they could have been, what could have been expounded upon, even more so than what they have already expounded upon. What would have been done? That'll be 2 episodes long. Let me see if I could find that somewhere. I remember hearing that like a few years ago or something like that, but there could have been more. We could have got more.
Let's see. There was 49 episodes, 2 specials, and a concert. And that was it total.
And the 2 specials.
But honestly, like, I think that for what we got amazing amount of stuff.
Especially with the fact that it wasn't doing well, which I find crazy.
I want to know who said it wasn't doing well.
The
They
ratings.
weren't getting the rating. I was like, y'all made it. They were like, we're going to try and make it a kid show. It was like, y'all in the J drama aspect. I was like, you tried to gear it towards kids a little too much because this was a very serious show. And unfortunately, you're not going to have the ratings base compared to the Super Sentai that's going on. Because that's the stuff's going on at the same time. You're not going to beat. I don't even know what animes were going on then. On probably like, I don't know if Mermaid Melody was going on. You had to compete with like animes that are made for children at the same time. And I was just like, and I feel that the disconnect happened there that because I feel that they tried to aim it towards kids because of Super Sentai. They should have aimed it towards teenagers and adults. And I feel it would have done better if they had worked towards that audience more.
Yeah.
Also, they should have done, I feel like they should have done more announcements. I feel that it would have, I don't even think we had a way to watch it back then anyway.
I don't think so. 2003, that would have been early internet.
I was still killing no, it wasn't killing a sacrificing a robot because I had Wi-Fi my senior year. So there was Wi-Fi in my house my senior year.
So I guess YouTube would have been the only way. Like, I thought I watched Mermaid Melody.
I think people used fan subs for PGSM because I have a friend that like would watch it back when it came out, and I think he told me that it came out in snippets at a time, and most of the time it was unsubbed, so they had no kind of context for what was happening. They had to go to a different website to get the translations of the show.
Oh my god!
I think it came out at the wrong time for Sailor Moon fans because it would have. I feel it would have gotten a really big fan base here. It still would get a fan base if they would give us the DVDs.
And not throw it under the bus like enough PGSM don't exist. And yes, I'm still salty that they don't have any kind of PGSM merchandise in the Sailor Moon Museum because they don't, from what I've seen.
I was competing on TV with Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh, why don't you just sink the ship?
Yeah.
Oh
I
my!
was like, Full Metal Alchemist, good luck. I know Fruits Basket was out then too.
Oh yeah.
It was
I'm trying to think what else was out.
It was
That
like
came
the
out in 01.
biggies.
Yeah.
Like some of the biggie old
classic
schools during that time. I
shows.
was like, you're doing a live action during that time when we couldn't get it over here, first of all. We didn't have Crunchyroll when this was coming out. So I feel that I'm sad that it's gotten lost. Like we still don't see like Crunchyroll announcing that they're going to do it. And like the only reason I can watch it is because I have the bootleg DVDs.
I watched it on YouTube back in the day before it got taken.
Same. That's how I watched it.
But I do think it is nice that the girls do get a happy-ish ending, because even something we see later is this special where it's actually Usagi getting married. And I do love Artemis is still a cat.
Just chilling.
And then I love everybody's like, who caught it? Andy!
I love him in PGSM so much.
Really?
Yeah.
I was so
And he proposes
him.
to Jupiter. I'm like, oh.
Okay, that I was happy with.
I love Motoki in this show. Maybe I'm partially biased because I love turtles so much. And the
Wow.
fact that he has a turtle and everything. Yes.
Everything makes sense.
I love them. I loved every moment of them.
I do like that he talks to his turtle. That is actually really funny.
It's so funny.
The Coffee Witch coming in with a plot theory. Like, I had never thought of that before. So, Artemis is a cat because he doesn't have Venus's powers to sustain him, like Luna could do with Moon. Oh.
Luna absorbed that energy to be able to come to Sailor Luna.
Where did she absorb the energy from? I forget.
I think she absorbs it after she becomes the princess. I think that's when Sailor Luna pops up.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's Prince Serenity's awakening is what pushes her to awaken as Sailor Luna, if I remember right.
Also, Luna was more powerful than Artemis anyway, so.
Luna's always been more powerful, I feel like, than Artemis in PGSM.
Oh, yeah.
Or
she was like, I got 4 scouts, you only have to take care of 1. Listen.
Luna is, and that would be such an interesting take, because then would Venus almost feel sorry that, like, he doesn't get to have a human form?
She technically does as Sailor Luna.
So she does. Okay, so for those who don't know, we have to explain Sailor Luna. Let's pretend. So in PGSM, we don't get Chibi Moon. We get Sailor Luna.
Yeah.
Fucking adorable.
She's a lot more tolerable than Chibi Moon.
I don't mind older Chibiusa. It's the first episodes of Chibiusa that I cannot stand. That was mainly because I met Chibiusa in the freaking English dub, and I was like, I can't. You are so annoying. I can't stand you.
Your name's Reedy. Rhymes. What do you mean? Sorry,
I love her so much.
But this is Sailor Luna, and Sailor Luna is, I believe she is original and only in PGSM. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes. You are correct.
Okay, awesome. So I think it's also great, though, because I've seen some kids dressed up as Sailor Luna, and it's like the cutest thing on earth.
I also do love that they did make sure that she had 4 odongos.
Oh, true.
Wow.
Yeah, because you can see it in that bottom picture where she's sleeping. She's got 2 odongos on the side. Made sure she kept her 4 odongos. And I was like, I appreciate this.
Honestly, that wig department,
everything.
I just want to meet the wig department. I just want to meet the mastermind and just be like, how did you do it?
But also, the actress they picked and the wig they picked compliments her so much.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, doesn't look bad. It looks phenomenal on her.
But, okay, so back to Venus. I think this is the happiest ending that we could have gotten with the setup. Because she's not really, she's given, I believe, the timeline from the beginning that she's gonna die.
Yes.
Yeah, because, and so the audience, I believe, is introduced to that concept pretty early, that she's not gonna last.
Kind of, sort of. They kind of get it from us too.
Really? Okay, yeah. I rewatched the ending.
Not right. They hide the fact that she's sick. There's like snippets of like might not have time, and we don't know why until like Mars finds out.
Okay.
We don't find out till Mars finds out that she is terminally ill.
Okay. That's why I have you guys, is to check me, because I remember a lot.
That's why it was so shocking. I remember when I was watching it for the first time, I was like, hold the fuck up. And I had to rewind the DVD because I was like, I'm sorry, what? And then I rewatched it and I was like, oh my God, she's terminally ill. And I was like, I've never seen this in a Sailor Moon at all, ever. Like we said, they always come back. There's nobody has ever been like sick. Well, I guess you can count for being kind. She has her moments where she has to like get her android stuff fixed because she is a cyborg. People who don't know this, Hotaru is a robot, is an android in the manga.
Yeah.
Until she is reborn, she is actually, her father built her because she died. She pretty much dies in the lab explosion when he's trying to save her. And he replaces his body parts and then he gives his soul up. So it's really interesting to actually see a sick Sailor Moon character because you don't have that. Nobody's sick. Nobody has terminal illnesses. They showed it in Crystal where they show like she's not human.
Yeah,
until
that's
she's reborn. But like you do have Mamoru get sick a couple times because the Earth is sick, but he's not gonna die. You know that the things are gonna be rescued. He's gonna get back to health. So he's the only one who ever gets like sick, and that is because the Earth is dying, and he is Sailor Earth.
Yeah.
People want to argue with me on that. Go ahead. Mamoru is Sailor Earth. He holds the star seed for Earth, and he always gets really affected when any of the enemies and stuff like that go after the planet. He is suddenly bedridden. So I think like I said, I find it very interesting that they did this. It is a big trope for Japan, for idols in that time and being in shows, but I was surprised to see it come in to this show. But she does come back though. That's what she doesn't stay dead.
No, but she loses her powers in her Sailor Venus persona.
Which, true. But it's just like, so she didn't stay dead. But for a moment, we thought she was going to.
They actually played it like it was gonna be
like she's gone. And you were like,
and that's it.
but she does get to come back as a normal person, which is nice. So she gets to live her dreams as an idol, which is what she wanted to do. She wanted to be an idol
and have friends
and have her friends. And that's what she gets in the ending. So there is a happy ending for PGSM, but they do decide to break us before we get the happy ending. Because I remember crying. I was just like, what the hell just happened? I don't understand. I've had moments in Sailor Moon where I've cried, but never like that. Because I really thought she was like gone.
And then the new opening that they do for her, like they take her out of the opening.
Oh, do they take her out of the opening?
They do.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, I gotta pull it up.
They do. She is not in the episodes. She's not
They
in the
replace her with Sailor Luna, and then they like put her video in there, and then it goes to black and white. It's like, oh, thanks for the wound. Thanks so much.
Either way, I'm going to twist the knife.
Yep.
How dare
It's
they?
literally like the next episode after she's Mick gone, and Mamoru meets Usagi, and Usagi's trying to smile because, Mamoru told her to smile, and he's like, you idiot, you better cry. It's okay. You can cry. And then you just hear the boom. He told me what, so no tutor. I want to feel like a Sailor Guardian right now, hearing, witnessing all this. I was boohooing. I was a wreck.
We were boohooing. We're like,
I want to hear this song. And I'm happy right now.
While she does fail her mission, I wonder if she feels lighter no longer having the leadership role on her anymore. Probably.
Because true, she's kind of set free in a way.
All the scouts are set free because of that.
No longer burdened by the past life. Cycle.
Which is interesting because if you think about it, the anime and Crystal and like every other form of Sailor Moon, everything just cycles. It starts again with another enemy because of the silver crystal. What happens to the silver crystal in PGSM?
Dissipates. It breaks, doesn't it?
No, I think it just gets it just kind of
loses its power. Batteries run out on it.
But that
I think it just gets absorbed back into her because she's still the princess of the moon. They get to live normal lives. They wanted to, like I said, they wanted to cement the facts that this is it. There's no more. We're gonna make them not have powers.
But that's interesting because does that help prove the theory that the silver crystal is what is drawing every enemy to the Earth?
That's actually what they say.
Oh, did they say? Because I can never remember if it's ever like fan theory or actually so.
Galaxia says there's a reason. I think it's Galaxia or someone says there's a reason we're all drawn here.
Really? When does that happen? I thought it was a fever dream.
Don't remember, but there is mention that if I forget who it was,
Was it in the
but if the
manga?
silver crystal wasn't around, would this really happen? Because it's what draws all the enemies. I don't know if it's maybe during the like Dark Moon arc for the Black Moon clan. That might be during then, but I remember them. There was something mentioned where it was. They mentioned the fact that the silver crystal is what everybody keeps coming after.
Interesting. And then once it's got, and then it's, I think PGSM is the only time we see it gone.
For good. Silver crystal isn't a star seed. It is a condensed power from the galaxy cauldron. It is the ultimate, like, pure light power. It is the power of light when there is darkness. It is the light to the darkness of the galaxy cauldron.
Interesting.
So that is why everybody is out after it, because Usagi only gets more powerful. And that is her connection with it, her feelings, her connections with her friends, putting their powers into it. Because the scouts put their own powers into it and caused new transformations and stuff like that. So Usagi has her own starseed, and it is not the silver crystal. The silver crystal happens to be embedded in her, and I think that is from the reincarnation.
Yeah. Oh.
What my wife has said, on destroying Earth, Princess Serenity finally sees the consequences of her actions and grieves for the people of Earth. Soon to revive, Mamoru convinces Serenity to sacrifice the mythical silver crystal to restore Earth, giving everyone a new chance at life. When her friends remember her, Usagi too is resurrected with Mamoru. Usagi makes peace with Serenity as Princess Sailor Moon and returns to Earth with Mamoru. And that is the end of PGSM.
Which, it's a beautiful ending.
It is.
We got a happy ending. That's what happened to the crystal.
Okay, so the crystal is gone in PGSM in the end.
So she sacrifices it.
Yeah.
But in the manga, her soul is connected to that thing. Like, there's no her giving that up. As you can see, anytime you see it in the show is when it gets crushed or taken away from her, all of a sudden, like, she gets the dead eyes and she's like,
yes, which is true. And it's so interesting too, because I don't think I'd ever remember a world without the silver crystal in Sailor Moon.
there isn't. And I think because she takes on the mantle of Princess of the Moon, that the crystal latches onto her because her mother's gone.
Yeah, because it was probably attached to her mother when it depends on your theory how her mother got the crystal. And y'all already know how I feel about her mother.
She gets it from the galaxy cauldron because she's one of the victorious scouts, essentially, one of the victorious warriors during the early making of the universe.
Am I allowed to say then that she stole the crystal? I
Stole it as much as it chose her, because I feel that the crystal's a parasite.
I think she stole it and she's evil.
I know you do. She's the only surviving movie relative, so it was put past Usagi. Yep. I know you think she's evil. You always know it, like, and it's her role.
I know. And by the way, guys, this is just, it's more of a joke that I have to harp on Mamo at least one an episode and always have
Screaming.
Yes, it's the season 1 episode finale for why I think she's evil. But that's the thing. It's so hard to know because we didn't get any of that backstory really about the beginnings of the crystal.
We do. It's very vague in the manga, but that's it.
The manga,
in the manga, if you get a vague kind of like how it came to be, and that's it. I went to saying, listen, Mama Serenity's action gave us Sailor Moon in the century, So even if she's evil,
You're not real,
you're
Loki.
kind of gonna kind of blind eye just a little bit.
Oh my god.
Okay, fine. That's her redeeming mark. Because I'm an outer scout, so I'm gonna be forever bitter.
Because I feel that she, like, even though, because I mean, she was around before like Earth really became populated. And I think that the crystal and stuff is what caused the life that there is in the Milky Way
You think so? Even on Earth?
area.
Because definitely on the moon. Because on the moon, it was in a dome, right?
Yeah. Like they have their own, like the moon, but it's like in this like life dome. Like you see like a clear barrier. I don't know if it was like a dome or if it was like a barrier to protect the kingdom
I could
or
have.
to cause gravity. Could
That's
be
what I
a
thought.
barrier to cause gravity so that they don't float away.
Oh my god.
But I feel that she probably, and the reason why people were after the crystal, and this only happens afterwards because Metalia gets awakened. I know we've gone off topic. We'll wrap it back over. But Metalia gets awakened because the silver crystal is in the area. And then as the Earth Kingdom builds itself and there's negativity, it feeds her and then she takes her barrel.
Okay.
Uh,
Mama Serenity lover.
My wife actually wants to cosplay Mama Serenity, so
Loki.
right.
But I do get, you know what? Me and Loki are just going to fight in the parking lot
Of a Wendy's.
of a Wendy's.
Wendy's.
But okay.
You'll only end up in a Denny's parking lot because you never go to a Denny's. You end up in a Denny's.
True.
Oh my god. All right. So Cuffy, which says, honestly, I think the loneliness of being in the Moon Kingdom, watching the blue marble slowly become populated and everyone having children around you, I go a little insane too. So in Mama Serenity's defense.
Because she does. She goes to the moon, she establishes the kingdom, and then she goes back to the galaxy cauldron. And that is when she ends up with her like Virgin Mary moment and becomes pregnant with Princess Serenity. So she establishes everything. And I feel that her going to the Milky Way is what awakened the star seeds anyway and caused those kingdoms to be.
Oh, interesting. I never thought of it like that.
Because there's very vague references, but they mention that Mama Serenity is the reason that they're in the kingdom. They are doing stuff. She's the one who puts Pluto on the time door. So she sets everything up. And tying back to PGSM, we don't get that in PGSM. Like you get a 2-second clip of the actress who does Usagi supposedly being her mother.
Yeah, literally it's her, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's her with her hair down.
Yep. And somebody else
In a
voiced her.
different dress that
Yep.
came off a bridesmaid clearance rack.
Mm.
Listen, I am a little sour.
I
The
love
budget
it so
went to
much.
Mamoru's shoulders, okay?
Oh, we don't show Mama's shoulder pads.
We
Mamoru
got
has
shoulder.
even Barrel's shoulder horns look better than the damn dress of Serenity. I'm like they're gold gilded, and I'm like, the fuck?
But it's such an interesting juxtaposition because we have, let me pull up the pictures, but we have King and Demian that we know in that like whitish purple lavendery tux. And then what happened?
My wife, Celine's like, why this costume department shop at the Nordstrom Rack clearance bridal section?
I'm not wrong.
Oh, true.
Oh,
Because it also was not a very flattering dress on the actress.
no.
That neckline did not look good on her. And I was like,
Had
All
to
right.
pause it for a minute.
come on, guys.
All right, I
Please.
got it. All right, so this is them shoulders though.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Look at
With
your
the
accent.
tassels and shit. Like, you could have taken the tassels off and used that to get a better dress for Serenity. Like,
It's actually like really well detailed armor
Look,
pieces.
it's nice. It's so nice.
and then you got like the generals. And like, he's not even Prince Endymion that much in the fucking show, and he still gets a better outfit. Expensive notions is what I'm saying.
But like, funny because you go from this to this.
I mean, at least they got the
What
cape.
happened?
The cape.
But they didn't even get the right culture.
It's like in the 90s Bandai view. It's like near to multi. What is it? Yes, that's.
What just happened here?
It's so shiny and sleek.
I just have a lot to say about everything on the screen right now.
It's so interesting because they actually recreate that photo in the Nelke view.
Really?
They do.
Okay, but let's focus back in on Venus and her ending and Pgsm.
Okay.
So, honestly, though, that cape they keep showing me.
You're welcome. I can send you so many more photos if you'd like.
Bandai musicals was special, and I didn't understand them until I met you, so I appreciate that.
And I think it matches like the campness that PGSM had at the time. Because the
Oh my
Bandai
god,
was
those
still
things were so
going on.
campy.
Yeah.
PGSM is so campy, and yet it took itself so seriously in some instances. What happened to that tone?
They were
It
just
went
like,
away-
we don't care. We only get one season.
It went away like Minako did.
Wow.
Wow.
I'm sorry. It's there.
It's the way you have disrespected me in my own house.
Man, you are.
Yes.
I was the orange
fucking
salad.
Listen, I have my cry session. I'm good.
I already attacked C. I went to the feels early.
Yeah. You went so early, and I thought I was ready, but obviously I was not in the slightest. Because boy, howdy, I love Minako so much.
Because she's a queen. Like, she works incredibly hard. We don't see an instance, I think, in the series, besides the game show episode, where you ever really get to see her relax with the scout. Which is,
She doesn't. She is leader mode all the time.
it's so sad.
So sad.
I do like, though, like I was saying earlier, she does form those connections, but I think PGSM itself did very well on making the friendship connections that the 90s animated. Because we did become emotionally attached to Venus.
Oh,
And that's why her death fucking rocked people.
Like
Because
Johnson.
like I said, I watched that episode, and when I realized she had died, I was like, what?
Yep.
And it didn't hit me until Mars screams her name, and I was like, oh my god, she's dead.
and you know what's interesting about that moment? It is truly, I think, Venus' main character moment, or like leader character moment, however we're gonna like term it. Because Moon is not in the center of this. Usually, Moon is always center if you ever look at their videography, or especially the anime. But Moon is off to the right.
Because she didn't know.
It really showcases to me how important Minako was for this storyline and for the show in general. It's honestly one of the things that makes me feel like she's more of a main character in this moment even than Sailor Moon. But I know this moment always gets you, Z.
It does.
Like
It
I said,
hurts.
when I saw this, that's when it really cemented the fact that she had passed. Because I didn't realize she had. I was like, oh, maybe something happened. I was like, I'm not understanding, and then I realized, oh, she's gone.
Yeah, because this is the last image we really like. We see her getting into the hospital bed, I believe. Like she's preparing for the operation, and then it's just a very subtle ending of seeing her in a hospital bed in all white and getting up.
Yeah.
And that letter is just beautiful too. How they had her write, so heartfelt. Also Artemis.
Look at his little tear.
I even give him a little tear. I can't. It's so well done. And also these two. Can we just talk about them real quick?
I love them.
I think Mars understands Venus the most because she is a politician's daughter. She understands the sadness that Venus is having. So I think in the show, because they do show like that moment where she's kind of to be the politician's daughter, and I think Venus runs into her when she's in that outfit. I
Yes.
really need to sit down and actually watch the series again, because there's like a lot of moments. A really quick off track thing. Do you want to know what I forgot
What?
for the manga for Mars? That she was in love with her dad's assistant.
What?
And she has
Huh?
a relationship with him.
What
I
chapter is this?
Book 4 of the Eternal series.
Hey, yo.
Hold on. I know it's off track, but this is why I think they got along so well, was Mars understands that loneliness even as a priestess, because she is a priestess.
Yeah.
And she very much holds herself up to a very high standard.
Also, just can I kind of piggyback off your theory?
Go ahead.
What if the reason Mars also understands Venus so well and grabs onto her and is the most affected by her death because she recently just lost her mother? Because Mars' mother does, I believe, pass away. I can't remember what the timeline is, but Mars loses her mother, and that is a memory in her mind.
Yeah.
It's this guy who says, "We've been waiting for you," like this guy right here.
Oh,
And this is her seeing her father. So this is the guy right here. He is the assistant to her father. And this is her birthday. But one of the things is like,
oh no.
and we kind of the trope of the teenage girl with an older man, unfortunately. But that was a big thing. Hold on, I'll show you. Because he's going to get married.
Oh, that's why it
And
comes
she's
out.
upset about it. Where is it? There was a picture of her and him kissing, and I'm like,
Really? They couldn't give us a Haruka and Michiru kiss, but they could do this? It's gonna be better. But that is wild. But yeah, but oh my god.
so I think that's a lot of the stuff like we have is like in the manga, Rei is very much like by herself. Even though she has the scouts, she still separates them.
She's the most
Here it is.
standoffish.
So the line she says before this, and this is why I think they did kind of put Minako and Rei together in Pgsm so close, because she would relate to her more in the manga. She goes, she's like, "You're gonna be a politician just like Daddy." He goes, "You're going to get married and make your children happy." He's like, "I'm not going to have children." And she goes, "Liar." He's like, "If you had to," or she says, "If you had to go into politics, if you had to be Daddy's successor, you could have married me."
Oh man. I completely forgot that. Oh man. Yay. Marius is just going through it.
Truly.
Like, I forgot that she's kind of tortured in a way.
And that's just it's a past flashback, because it's actually Zoisite messing with her.
Really?
Oh.
And he's messing with like that feelings for that assistant, and that assistant's going to get married, and she's upset about it, but she kind of, in the manga we actually get to see, and in the Pgsm we actually get to see her be the politician's daughter. You don't ever see that in the animes.
And the company brings up a great point, but part of her torture is self-inflicted because she's so closed off. She's actually also part of Minako's torture because she does close herself off. It's not until Rei forcibly finds out that she confesses to any of them.
It's true. It's because she doesn't want to cause anybody any trouble.
No.
She's like, "This is my problem. I will deal with it."
She's such a strong leader. Like, also, let's bring up, I think the most important song that we can agree on is "They Love You," right?
Yes.
Were the lyrics unique? Do you remember?
Yes. Hold on. I have the lyrics pulled up right here.
Beautiful. I think I found them, so I'll pull them up so that they're on screen.
Oh, fantastic.
While you talk. Because it's from the screen?
SailorMusic.net for me.
Okay. Mystery is my usual go.
Not me, same. Because I think of the lyrics, oh goodness, where's that? Why is it that people have but one chance to live life? Why does time not stand still for even 1 second? I think that's the main stanza that stood out to me. It's just little things here and there.
And also just the right before your eyes, this moment will run right past you. It's almost like a warning of, I'm going to be here, but it's going to be a quick moment and it's going to end before you even realize it. That's true. The company which was up Ray being a politician's daughter also meant she was under a microscope for behavior. So it could have been that she wasn't as closed off as much as she was afraid to act because it would immediately react to the news. You know what I mean?
Why she stays at the temple, because she doesn't want to be involved in it. So she becomes a shrine maiden under her grandfather's tutelage, essentially, after her mother passes.
Yes.
And that's how she stays safe from it. That's how she stays out of the news and away from her father's thing.
Yeah. And yeah, c'est la vie does mean such is life. So I think, and how poetic is it that such is life is Venus is almost saying in this series? Because it is a very sad. The reason I chose, okay, so I actually love the TikTok I made for this episode because I found like the perfect happy, sad version of the song C'est la vie. And it just makes sense with her character because she is willing to do anything. And it's always just like, such is life.
Because she knows she's on borrowed time.
Yes. She's almost.
She's trying to live it to the fullest without. That's why she doesn't tell anyone. She doesn't want. It's just like, who passed away and didn't let us know? Alan Rickman. He didn't want anybody to know that he was sick. And a lot of actors and famous people, it's the same thing with
like Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't want anybody to know. He wanted to live his life without that on top of his head. Because I didn't know he was sick until pretty much his last day.
Yeah, same. Until they announced that he had passed, I didn't even know he was sick.
No one knew he was sick. And I think that's kind of embodied in this. And you see it a lot with a lot of idols and stuff like that. And if they're sick, they don't want people to know. But because they want to live in the moment, they don't want the illness to be the life. They just want to live their life until they take their last breath.
And I think
David Bowie gave us a little bit more time. Like he gave us a song and everything that he said goodbye in his last song.
But Minako does say goodbye in song.
Yeah, she does, but no one ever realizes it.
True. It's like the after.
No one's realizing that she's saying goodbye.
In a way, it's kind of that because like these lyrics right here stood out to me. I'll definitely find you, c'est la vie. It's my reason for being, c'est la vie. It's your reason for being you. I can't see anything, but I'll chase it because I want something to see. It kind of reminds me of her vision going in and out and like how she was getting sicker and sicker, but she was just like, my life, I have to keep going.
We can even look at the song Sayonara Sweet Days too.
I'll bring it up.
With her literally singing goodbye.
Let me pull up Sayonara song. I have barely been able to listen to that one because it's just cry.
Sam, I'm so serious. You play the first 3 seconds, I'm saying cut it off. Shut it off. Shut it down. Yeah, it's emotional.
Let's see, where is it? Sayonara Sweet Days, SailorMusic.net. There we go. Oh, is it so sad?
Oh, yes. Oh.
So this is the song that Minako sings at the end, right? Like when they're doing that karaoke moment where she's kind of a past ghost.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
The way it literally references everything that she's done from like the beginning.
Yeah. How about like, why are you about to cry? Sorry for always teasing you. It's almost like past regrets or things she didn't get to say to them before it ended. Oh.
Especially to Mars, because Mars had become such a good friend.
Yeah. Let's see. I not ever return again.
Think I don't like Korean. Oh my word.
Oh, it's so beautiful. And yeah, the view from the Ferris wheel where we once all sat make tears softly swell in my eyes. I leave the city without saying goodbye. I cannot ever return to that time again. Like, literally, she's talking about how much the few moments, because she barely got any time with them. She comes in at the end, guys. She barely gets any episodes where she gets to hang out with them.
She's also either like at the doctor's or she's being an idol. Too. So she's not a schoolgirl in this because she doesn't go to school with them.
Yeah. And the ending of the song is Sweet Days, just like how the sun sometimes shows his face through the clouds. I'm sure you'll see me again and keep smiling. Talking about her looking down on them. Even if things get tough, when you're sad, it is best to smile because it shows you are alive.
Crying in the background.
We can't see you because all we see is just the image lighting up like, oh no.
Because, like, in a way, I know the song is, like, addressed to all of them, but with some of the lyrics being so specific, I feel like she's talking about Usagi.
Oh.
Like, they'd be from the Ferris wheel where everyone sat with the two of them sitting on the Ferris wheel, and your smile even got me to eat something I don't like, whipped cream, when they're sharing the cake, because they eat cake the same way. Like, what? Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness.
She didn't want Usagi to be depressed. That's why she didn't tell her, because if Usagi's depressed, she loses her will to fight.
Yes.
And that's why she tells her to
She didn't want that to happen. She didn't want her princess to lose the will to fight because they need to defeat Beryl.
Well, the watch something happy after that.
I'm going to read manga. I'm going to read gay manga.
Sounds like a plan.
Comfy witch, bitch, me too. If I'm depressed, I'll lose my will.
Oh my God. Go ahead and let's wrap up the episode because we're almost at the end of our segment. But oh my God, that's this
Wow.
episode. This episode though, this is like tears. The episode.
Truly.
Oh, I'm sorry. You didn't want to cry. Too bad.
I literally
got your
cried.
water nearby.
I cried preparing for this episode, especially having to watch the ending of her death every time.
Can't do it.
On that note, bye everyone. Hope you all don't expire from this.
Yay, Venus does kind of give them that ending courage to defeat Beryl. Which is interesting because it is such a complete 180 from the manga where Venus is the one who kills Beryl. It's a wild change, but it worked.
I mean, I think they needed that because you don't have in the anime, it's Mamoru that they're trying to free because Mamoru's still under the spell.
Yes.
He's still the evil Prince Endymion. And I think that was the motivation. That is the motivation in the 90s. That is literally why they are there. They are there to defeat Beryl to free Prince Endymion.
Yeah, because I don't believe there's anything else that we get as motivation.
No, that's the biggest motivation because they were so close to freeing him.
Oh, so
and then they finally figure out where Beryl is, and they're like, "We're gonna go there and kick some ass," essentially. But I think PGSM. Their factor is Venus passing, and that they're gonna make sure that they do what she's asked.
And that's on Mars using Venus's weapon in the final battle.
Oh my God. Oh, I wish I cannot find that clip. I could only find stills of that, of Mars using Venus's weapon.
She's now the leader of the scouts.
Oh, that's true. Moon isn't the leader. It is Mars.
Mars becomes the leader of the scouts.
That's so interesting.
That's why she gets the sword. And like I said, that's why not only is in this series, Venus is an idol, Mars is a politician's daughter. They understand each other. They understand that loneliness that comes with the positions that they were put into. They're also supposed to be co-leaders. Like Venus is the leader, but Mars is second in command.
Yeah.
Because Moon is just their trump card, to be honest. She's just
Wait, what?
Fun fact. Artemis's Seiyu from PGSM is Yamaguchi Kapei, aka Inuyasha and Male Ranma.
That means he's
Fun
all
fact that we
learned.
learned.
What did you say?
Fun fact for Luna is the same for PGSM is the same voice actress of Luna from the anime.
We love that.
That's amazing. And what were you gonna say, Z?
Oh my gosh. I was saying I was saying that means Shinichi Kudo as well, because Shinichi Kudo is voiced by Yamaguchi. Because he also was in Yasha and Yamcha, I believe, from Dragon Ball Z. So that's a new perspective when I watch PGSM again. Artemis is Yamcha.
Yamcha. Fucking Yamcha.
I love that. Also, I like how I just noticed they're doing copycat.
Oh.
These are my two little fur babies. Which one's which? I can barely even tell them apart right now because they both have their eyes closed. One is Comet, one is Naboo.
Oh,
I don't even know where Luna and Artemis are. They fucked off.
I guess like joining our stream.
I think they're upstairs with Loki because Luna likes to lay with Loki and Artemis likes to lay on the couch. So yes, I do have Luna and Artemis also, in case y'all didn't know how obsessed I was.
The background doesn't help.
Yeah. It's funny because in my TikToks, people are like, it took me a second to realize that's all Sailor Moon behind you in your TikToks. And I was like, sure is.
Yep.
And then I've got Luna. People are like, oh, you have Luna and Artemis at home? I was like, yes, Luna is a black cat. Artemis is a white cat. And Artemis has 2 different colored eyes. So he has green and blue. So he actually has the anime and the manga eyes.
He does. Oh my goodness.
My fat man. I love him so much.
Oh, all right. Any last points you guys want to make on Sailor Venus or the ending of PGSM?
her songs are fire. You should check them out.
Oh, if people want to check out PGSM, the places to find it, okay? I know it is available for download on Mistream. So I will.
Yeah, you have to torrent it. I was like, people still have torrent material on their fucking computers. I haven't used torrents in forever.
I was going to say, it's been a minute. So they actually have all of them. So if you are wanting to watch, this is the best place to do it that I know of. Unless, Z, do you have anything else?
There is also seaofserenity.net.
All right, Sea of Serenity, PGS. I used Sea of Serenity back in the day. There we go.
I'll go to for the musicals.
Yeah. Oh, they're epic for musicals. But Sea of Serenity also has all of these down here. Okay. So if you are at all interested, PGSM is able to be watched. You just have to take a few extra steps. And unfortunately, you cannot buy it or stream it.
Sadly.
Toei, please remember it exists.
Literally.
You might be able to find the bootleg DVDs on eBay, though.
Yeah, I got the bootlegs.
I had to. I was like, I can't watch this any other way. I was like, well, bootleg DVD it is. And I was shocked that I could only buy it in that manner.
Yeah. For all the Sailor Moon merchandise out there, it's wild.
I'm surprised. Like, we need to sign a petition and be like, hey, can you guys you don't have to remake it. Just put it on DVD officially for us. That's all we want.
You can even put the making of specials that y'all have so we can see behind the scenes stuff.
That would be so exciting.
Like, I don't even care. Just give me the Blu-ray. Thank you.
All right. We'll wrap up with you guys. B, would you like to go first and plug yourself and any project you're working on?
Sure. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok under SailorMoonTurtle. And the project that I'm currently working on is Princess Sailor Moon from the live action Sailor Moon series. She's been a process.
I've been watching. It's been good.
Thank you so much. I've taken a few creative liberties with fabric choices and stuff here and there, but she's been really fun. And I'm very excited to bring her to life because she's been like a 8 or 9 year long dream, something like that. So
that's so awesome. So yeah, check out the social if you want to see more PGSM, or especially I'm so excited for your Princess Sailor Moon build.
Hell yeah.
All right. And then, of course, my wonderful co-host. Anything you want to plug?
So you guys can find me here on Twitch. I am Selene_Laufeson. Tomorrow I will actually be on. It'll be I'm celebrating my 2-year anniversary as being an affiliate on Twitch. And I'll be having subathons starting at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
EST. And you can also, I actually need to update so we can have it on here. I do have a TikTok. It is the same as my Twitch name, which is Selene_Laufeson. I have started posting more. like I'm actually posting. I'm having a lot of fun with it because now I'm starting to figure out how to like do all the timing shit on there, um, which is kind of hard. But I'm starting to learn how to do all of it, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. You can see my Sailor Moon collection because I do have videos where I actually like go through this whole thing. Especially for anybody who's just listening to the podcast, if you want to see us, please go check us out on these social medias because then you can actually like see stuff because you'd be able to see like Sailor Moon collection that people constantly talk about. It's so funny because people are like, "Are you insured for that?" And I said, "Yes, I'm not an idiot. My Sailor Moon collection can pay for a house. Yes, it's insured."
That's
You
amazing.
can also follow me on Instagram. You can find me under Catarata, which is actually my cosplay name. You can find my Facebook under that too. We are so insured for it, as my wife says. My name is Catarata for the cosplay scene. I have not cosplayed in a long time, but if you look on there, you'll see my Nehelenia cosplays. You will see my Princess Serenity cosplays. I haven't done any of the Fukus because I'm not brave enough yet.
They're a
Yeah,
lot.
that's all.
One of those. And projects I'm working on,
This.
buying too much manga from Barnes and Noble. But I don't have too many projects I'm working on except just doing my Twitch, and then I do the Eternal Mooncast. I'm starting to write a book. Yes,
That's amazing.
That's so cool.
because my wife threatened my book budget. My book budget has been threatened thoroughly. I have to write 2 chapters a month to be able to get even $100 of my allowance to my book budget, and I'm just like,
But that's
when that actually starts happening, see me plug more. So yes, I am working on a book. My wife's right. Damn, let's put that out. I'm like, fuck.
all right, guys. Oh, sorry. Were you good?
No, I'm good.
All right, guys. And then I am your host and show creator and runner, Michi. You can find me at MEW21_cosplay. I run our official TikTok and Instagram, which you can follow us at Eternal Mooncast. I'm always trying to put up at least an episode preview the day of that comes out around 2 p.m. Eastern. And then I also try to put up on Instagram too, so that you can kind of get an idea of what the episode will be about. So please follow us there. Also, if there's any reason we're going to be late or updating, we try to update the Instagram especially first. Please join our Eternal Mooncast Discord, which is in our link tree on Instagram. I will put the link tree up on the screen right now. It is that cute little QR code. So please feel free to follow us on all of the things. We are going to be back next week. And Selene, we are going to be back with guest Aaron of the 3000 Brigade. And we are going to be doing the episode Build Your Own Moon Kingdom.
I haven't seen Erin in ages.
I know. Are you excited?
I'm so excited. I haven't seen her since MetroCon like 2 years ago.
Yep. I talked to Aaron, and
3 years
Aaron is
ago.
a huge Mooney, and Aaron is coming on, and we are going to be giving our personal theories on what the Moon Kingdom was like. So if you are at all interested in Moon Kingdom or like that kind of fun stuff, this is Michi. This has been my co-host Selene and our wonderful special guest Z. Thank you guys for joining us on Eternal Mooncast, and have a good night.
Good night.